Victor Osimhen is one of football's deadliest strikers, yet somehow his career trajectory leaves him outside Europe's top 5 leagues.
Oh, genius!
Gyokeres and Sesko are the latest to get their big money moves, joining the likes of Haaland, Isak and Salah at the top table. But why isn't Victor Osimhen there? In this video, we'll be covering the decisions made in his drama-filled career to see what really went wrong with the Nigerian striker, who is to blame, and why it absolutely sucks to be in Victor Osimhen's shoes right now. Today, Victor Osimhen is doing the business for Galatasaray. He finished on 35 goals in 39 matches, the most goals ever scored by a foreign player in the Turkish league. One of those goals being the goal of the season too. After a loan season, Galatasaray bought him on a long-term deal for a Turkish record of 75 million euros, which seems a lot, but in fact, his value has collapsed. At his peak, he was worth over 100 million euros. Today, Transfermarkt has him at 70 million euros. Some sources even put it as low as 54.4 million euros. That's a staggering 30 to 45% drop in just 18 months. Playing in the Turkish league where there's less competition seems to be hurting his reputation. When you're supposed to be competing with the likes of Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe, playing in Turkey seems to send the wrong message. That also points to the reason why he was left out of the 2025 Ballon d'Or nominees list. Arsenal left him for Gyokeres, Manchester United left him for Benjamin Sesko, Chelsea kept him as an option, but now they've got Liam Delap and João Pedro. The same player who was supposed to be the missing piece for Europe's biggest clubs now struggles to generate serious interest. But how did he end up there after delivering so many goals? We will get to that, but first, let's rewind the clock and remember just how incredible this guy's journey was. After brief spells at Lagos's youth team in Nigeria, an impressive run in Germany's Wolfsburg, and a breakthrough season at Lille where he caught everyone's attention, Victor Osimhen landed at Napoli with the weight of history on his shoulders. Before Osimhen arrived, Napoli were barely a sleeping giant scrambling for points to stay alive in the league. 33 years since they last won the Serie A title during the time of prime Diego Maradona. 33 years of disappointment, near misses, and broken dreams. That's how long their fans had been waiting. Then came their saviour in Victor Osimhen, a 6'1" menace of pure muscle and explosive pace. Napoli came knocking in 2020 with an offer that ripped apart the record books. 70 million euros base fee, rising to a staggering 80 million euros with add-ons. That made him Napoli's most expensive signing ever, surpassing even Gonzalo Higuain, and also the most expensive African player at the time. Well, as you must have guessed, the expectations on him certainly went through the roof, but yes, Osimhen delivered nothing but pure class. 26 goals and 5 assists in just 32 Serie A appearances in the 2022-23 season. That's what we call an elite performance. Not only did he break Samuel Eto'o's record for most goals by an African player in a single Italian season, but he did it in grand style. You see, what made Osimhen so terrifying was his physical dominance when he's on the pitch. He has all the physicality it takes to bulldoze defenders with raw power and blistering pace and score incredible goals that will leave you jumping off your seat. He was simply a joy to watch. And then came that magical night. May 4th, 2023. Napoli were on the verge of something monumental, their first Serie A title since the legendary days of Diego Maradona, when he scored that crucial equaliser that sealed the deal. Napoli were champions, and Victor Osimhen was their conquering hero. The numbers don't lie. Joint record holder with George Weah for most Serie A goals by an African player, a clinical conversion rate of 27.4% from 95 shots. What more could you expect from a 23-year-old striker? Sports analysts were already crowning him the greatest Napoli player since Diego Armando Maradona. That's the level we're talking about. But how did we go from being on top of the world to it all going horribly wrong? It all started with something so petty and unnecessary that it's hard to believe it actually happened. Napoli, the club he'd just delivered a historic title to, decided to post videos on TikTok mocking him for a penalty miss.
I'm not a boy, and I'm not a girl. I'm a coconut. I am the coconut, and I'm a coconut. Coconut. My coconut. Coco. I'm a coconut.
This is the same player who had just become a club legend, the man who ended 33 years of title heartbreak. And their social media team thought it would be funny to humiliate him online. Not once, but twice. Two separate incidents that completely destroyed any remaining trust between player and club. Osimhen only wanted the same respect that any title-winning hero deserves. Instead, he got brutal public mockery from his own club. And when he complained, Napoli's response was basically, deal with it.
I mean, it is an absolute joke. It would be funny if it wasn't so serious. Victor Osimhen is one of the best forwards in the world. His goals helped Napoli win the title last season. He was a top scorer in Serie A, and he's been mocked and insulted on social media by his own club.
President Aurelio De Laurentiis stubbornly refused to apologise. The club management dug in their heels and insisted his contract situation was not up for discussion. Rather than admit they'd made a huge mistake, they chose to freeze out their biggest star. They excluded him from squad lists. They kept him away from training like a plague. The immediate financial hit was brutal for Osimhen. He lost bonuses and all performance-related payments. His market value started dropping because he wasn't playing. But the real damage was to his reputation. Here was a player who had just proven himself at the highest level, and now he was being painted as a black sheep by his own club. The same social media platforms that had celebrated his title-winning goals were now being used to destroy the man who made those moments possible.
Putting a black guy close to a coconut.
And this is where Victor Osimhen's situation really begins to suck. Because now he's got three huge problems that are scaring off every top club in Europe. One, his wage demands are absolutely insane. We're talking 12 million euros plus per year. That's the amount he's asking for from Premier League clubs. To put that in perspective, he's currently earning 25 million euros per season at Galatasaray. That's close to 500,000 euros per week. That salary sure is one reason why it doesn't suck to be in his shoes. But most clubs in the Premier League are trying to be more financially responsible after COVID losses, and those numbers just feel too unrealistic. Then Al Ahly in Saudi Arabia came for him and offered him a staggering 40 million euros per year. That's 770,000 euros per week. Talk of generational wealth. Well, to his credit, Osimhen turned it down because he still wanted to play in Europe and compete against the best. However, whilst rejecting the easy money, he has still priced himself out of competitive football. 2. There are still question marks over whether he can do it in the Premier League. Yes, he totally dominated Serie A. But Serie A and the Premier League are completely different leagues. In Italy, he had time and space. Defenders had to think tactically. But in England, it's pure chaos right from the very first minute. We're talking about a league where you have monstrous defensive pairs like Gabriel and Saliba, Ruben Dias and John Stones, or Van Dijk and Konate. Elite strikers from Serie A mostly struggle to bang in goals. We've seen this play out with Rasmus Højlund, Gonzalo Higuain, Alvaro Morata and Mario Balotelli, amongst others. At Napoli, Luciano Spalletti built the entire system around feeding this goal-scoring machine. They created 2.3 big chances per game specifically for him. In the Premier League, you don't get that luxury. You need to adapt to existing systems, not have systems built around you. And 3, the massive character concerns. This is the big one. Manchester United and Chelsea have both cooled their interest due to what insiders are calling serious attitude worries. David Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano, two of the most connected journalists in football, have both reported that top clubs are really concerned about his behaviour off the field. The whole Napoli issue showed a troubling pattern. When things went wrong, Osimhen didn't try to resolve the situation. He escalated it dramatically. Public complaints on social media, cryptic posts during conflicts, missing training sessions, complete breakdown in communication with management. Premier League clubs have been burned before by high-maintenance players. They probably remembered Mario Balotelli and Paul Pogba's United saga and decided they're not interested in paying €12 million per year for another potential headache. So Victor Osimhen did everything right on the pitch. He handed Napoli their biggest prize in the club's recent history. He proved himself in the Champions League against Europe's elite. He has all the tools to be one of the world's most lethal strikers. But football isn't just about what happens between the lines. It's about relationships, timing, and market dynamics. And right now, all of those crucial factors are working against him. At 26, he's entering what should be his peak years. Contractually, he's there until he is 30. As it stands, he will be watching players like Haaland and Mbappe dominate Europe. Maybe the story would have been different if Napoli had just shown him basic respect after delivering that title, or if he had been more flexible with his wage demands. But football doesn't deal in what-ifs. Right now, Victor Osimhen is proof that talent alone isn't enough. You need to be in the right place, at the right time, with the right people around you. And this would have certainly changed the narrative. Hopefully, we will see him tested at the top table while in his prime, so we can really see the true quality he possesses. So that's it. What do we think? Has he shot himself in the foot by wage demands and lack of conflict resolution? Or has he done the right thing? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.